the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins. By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Thursday, March 7th. Happy birthday, Jonathan Mitchell. Let's just kick off the show.
Happy birthday.
Big.
Yeah.
He is 45. Looks
Whoa.
every bit of it. But aging like fine wine.
Yeah.
How old is he? I don't even know how old I am. How old am I?
20.
32. He's 32 today.
Okay, I was about to say I'm 29, you're 28. Not for much longer.
We'll see. We'll see. It is a great show, not just because it's my brother's birthday, which that is awesome, but SEC champs, baby. And I see Landon's got the garb on. Is that the right word? So I guess not cutting down the net. Didn't you buy a whole new goal instead of just a new? I don't even know if you can buy a new net for a Nerf goal, but instead of a new net.
I got a Carm, so it was about the same as a new net. Honestly,
Did you get it after they like discounted it that like next day?
Yeah.
Love that.
It was probably on its way to the kill shelter. Yeah, got it for a good price. We'll say that.
Love that. Cutting down nets, just doing what champions do. Will they cut down a net Saturday for regular season champ? I mean, you can if you lose. You can't go and cut down a net.
I think you do it. Could you do it before the game?
I don't think you do it before the game. That seems like a bad omen. But I also don't know if you do it at all for a regular season championship.
It would have been hilarious if we just cut South Carolina's net.
I mean, I would have loved that. How hard is it to get like a step ladder in there or something? Or I mean, you steal a ladder. There's got to be one there somewhere.
Somebody's got to be more prepared.
Yeah. Or just how awesome would it be if you see like Zakai Ziegler get on like Adu's shoulders or something?
It would be cool if we could just do like I don't know when you would do it. Maybe like that Sunday, everybody just gather in, have a little church service, and then cut down the nets.
Again, would be great, but not that I won't still be excited about winning regular season championship. I just don't know if even Sunday I would be in the mood for that if you did somehow lose on Saturday. I shouldn't say somehow. I just wanted to try to not be negative, but if you lose on Saturday, I'll be sad until we play again.
Yeah, that's true. Man, hey, let's just wait and cut them down in a few weeks. Okay.
Yeah, that's good with me. We want to play on Monday. Although we actually want to play on Saturday, but since they have to schedule the game on Monday, I guess we'll want to play on Monday.
Yeah.
Greg Barnes said. I walked in this morning. The first thing I said to my boss was, should we go ahead and tell everybody we're going to be closed April 8th and 9th?
Yeah, what
he said yes. So,
okay. See
you guys in Phoenix.
I'm in.
All right. Obviously, it's going to be a fun show. Because I agree with your point. I know I said in a tournament sport, I think the SEC tournament is like more important. It's a I don't know if like even prestigious is right. It's just like it's a bigger thing because of when it happens. Mm-hmm. But in terms of impressiveness, going a full conference slate, winning a regular season title outright because they don't even have tiebreakers, which I kind of like more now that I think about it. Like to really win it, you got to win it outright. If you share it, you share it. Ain't a big deal.
Yeah, I love the fact that they kept bringing up like it could be a 5-way tie. It's like, bro,
have they heard of Dalton Connect?
Yeah, we're just gonna end this tonight. Go ahead and get those graphics. Go ahead and delete them. We don't need that. No 5-eye.
I mean,
we were talking about Bad News Bears a lot like kissing your sister. I mean, a 5-way tie. What is that? That's like kissing
Alabama family reunion.
Yeah, good Lord.
Yeah, no, that would have sucked for sure. But we don't have to worry about that.
We don't.
It was we're kind of obviously dancing around. Oh, first off, we have a great show. We're going to talk basketball almost the entire time until we get to the end. We'll obviously talk about midweek baseball and excited to get into that because your boy Xander got. If you haven't eaten queso today, that's on you. Xander got it for you. So that's on you.
Didn't need nobody else.
No. But we also got Steve Hamer on to talk basketball. Very fun, just great interview. Great guy.
Just an all-time dude. I mean, never met a stranger. I mean, if you see him he's at about every sporting event. And he's just the nicest person. So
yeah,
glad he's back with the University of Tennessee and glad he's in the position that he is. And glad we got to get him on the show tonight.
Yeah, and kind of real quick, just reflection of this podcast. It's always interviewing guys like that kind of transcend time as a Tennessee player. It's always kind of like a surreal moment as a guy who grew up a Tennessee fan, listened to my dad tell the stories about guys like him, talk basketball with him, and somewhat feel like I should be doing it. So thank you all for listening and making that possible. So appreciate that. What I was going to say about this team before I kind of got into that, obviously you still have one more game in this 4-game stretch that you talked about wrapping up an SEC title with, regular season title with. The way Tennessee's played in this stretch of games, they played well all season. Obviously some bumps in the road, a pretty big one at A&M, but the way they've played down the stretch, man, to get that. I guess you can call it 4 games if you want to start it with A&M because I mean that's a team you should beat, but you had to overcome whatever happened last time, which part of that was just an all-world night that'll never happen again. But overcome some stuff. So if you want to call it a 4-game stretch, by all means, really really talented, sound Auburn team, deep Auburn team at home that you just thumped. You go on the road at Alabama. So much surrounding that moment. That was. In Nate Oates' mind, in a lot of the SEC's mind, that was the conference title game.
Yeah.
Bad news for Tennessee is it really wasn't for them because they have to go play a South Carolina team that, 7 games into the SEC, I said, this team stinks. Well, boy, was I wrong. And credit to them they should stink. They should. But they're one of the top teams in the SEC.
Yeah. They're gritty. They have that kind of grittiness to them, just like Tennessee. I think that's why the game last night was so defensive heavy.
Yeah.
It was an all-out rock fight. Everybody had a rock. And
it was a great defensive game, but also 2 teams that can score the basketball. It wasn't a bad game. A lot of college basketball games where you get 2 kind of nasty is the right word for them. They get in there, they get physical, nasty defensive teams. You watch that game and you think, this is bad basketball. It was a great game. It was a great game.
Yeah, and I want to say this. It was just slower. There wasn't a lot of turnovers. There wasn't a lot of fouls. It was just you weren't getting anything easy on either side of the court.
Right. And I do want to go ahead and put this out there. And Rick Barnes has done a phenomenal job. I'll say it later on. This is probably his best coaching job at Tennessee. Lamonte Paris is the coach of the year in the SEC. Rick Barnes said national coach of the year. I don't know if I disagree with that. He's the coach of the year in the SEC.
Yeah.
The way he has that team playing.
Yeah.
It's not close.
But
yeah, just obviously a phenomenal stretch of games, but a phenomenal performance last night. And I truly believe this, and obviously it doesn't change how the game goes. And credit to South Carolina for staying in it. I think Tennessee, especially in the second half, did a really, really good job of scoring when they kind of needed to. It seemed like they were able to get the crowd, take the wind out of the crowd. Seemed like they were able to keep South Carolina just out of arm's reach, but then South Carolina would crawl back in. They were a strike away. They kept it within distance. So credit to them for that. The way Tennessee closed out the half, if that half is 2 minutes longer, I think Tennessee runs away with this game, the way they were rolling there.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of mentioned it, Tennessee just always had an answer last night. Anytime that they would hit a big 3, Dog Connect's guys, I'm taking
I'll step into this one.
Yeah. I'll sit the crowd back down. Don't you worry. They're not gonna get too riled up. And guys, we should have known. All right, we should have known what the outcome was when you had all those frat guys getting in the front of the student section with a jersey of a quarterback that went 5-7 this year. All right, loser mentality. We knew what was going to happen. Loser.
Yeah, that's a great point. Not a sport, not the right sport. Number one, which we've already had the Jordan debate here, but not the right sport. Also, just at least they were wearing the right colors. This wasn't an Alabama frat guy that was wearing maroon in the front row.
Yeah.
So they're getting better, I guess. But also credit South Carolina fans. That I don't know if they just maybe had the crowd more mic'd up last night to really bring it all in, but man, that place sounded like it was bumping.
Yeah, all for nothing.
And I mean, maybe they were just so drunk they didn't know. I mean, they were cheering at the end of the game when it was over.
Yeah.
So I guess credit to them for that, but also what are you doing?
It's a huge win. I think Tennessee is definitely a better team than South Carolina. Now, I know South Carolina is gritty. They are. And so they deserve
lunch pail guys.
Yeah. They deserve all the credit that Lamont Paris and all of them have gotten over the course of the season. But that was a game where I think we talk about it with Steve Hamer. That's a game probably Tennessee loses a couple years back. Like you're playing for a number one seed. You're playing for a number one seed in the NCAA tournament. You're playing for a number one seed in the SEC tournament. You're playing for an SEC title. You're playing on the road against a team that already beat you earlier in the season.
On a weeknight SEC.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough game to go in and win. And Tennessee, it wasn't pretty. But again, Tennessee is just as gritty, if not more, than South Carolina, and that's why they were able to come out with the dub.
It wasn't the best basketball by any means, but it wasn't ugly. Just to kind of like I think that's kind of what encourages me about this Tennessee team, as far as can they play late into March, is that they can still piece together really, really good stretches of basketball.
Yeah, and when I say ugly, it was. You shot 35%.
Yeah.
We just
wasn't
too well, and you have to credit some of that to South Carolina because they do play good defense.
Yeah, it wasn't their best night by any stretch of the imagination. Mm-hmm. We've seen Tennessee at their best. This isn't it, but it was a really good night where they did what they had to do, and then they go. I mean, the big story when you're looking at South Carolina loss at home versus that last night win at South Carolina, they went 19 for 22 from the free throw line.
Yeah. Got it done when you
want to go deep. You want to go deep into March when you have all of these components that make this basketball team up that can go deep into March. You go 19 for 22 from the free throw line. You're going to win a lot of ball games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just the way that we're able to win games, differently, not in and not out. Like I think we mentioned it last show. Like we can win or we score 80, 90 points. We can also win when it's 60 something to 50 something. And I think we're comfortable in doing that, especially the veterans on this team. That's all last year was pretty much.
Yeah.
And you win a lot of games like that. And it is kind of a breath of fresh air when you're able to get those 80 to 90 point outbursts. Having a guy like Dalton Connect definitely helps that and makes it easier. But, I think just the way that Tennessee is able to win different basketball games, I think it makes them prepared for March. And that's what this run that Tennessee has been on, the ranked opponents that Tennessee has had to play over the past couple weeks. I mean, it's a March run. And I know people are like, well, you still got to win in March. Yeah, but Tennessee is doing that in March.
It's also March.
They are doing that in March.
I know the games that matter. I'll say that facetiously, by the way, people. So
I mean, it's definitely you have to have more faith in this basketball team and Rick Barnes from previous years, just because of the way that they're winning right now at the right time.
Absolutely, and I think we've hammered it home a lot on this podcast, and I've seen it elsewhere. It's incredibly difficult to win in the tournament. It's also it's one game There's so many factors ranging from health, skill, game plan to luck. I mean, there's so many factors that go into it. And then also part of it is playing a really good regular season, because you know what else Tennessee probably did last night? Win or lose Saturday, no matter what happens in the SEC tournament, because we know conference tournaments don't matter except for auto bids. We know they don't matter. Tennessee probably clinched a 1 seed last night.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's
there could be some changes.
Yeah,
I'm not saying there
Joe
can't be.
Lenardi, I mean, I know like he's not the end all be all of who projects who makes the bracket.
Right.
But if he's like teetering and Tennessee does lose on Saturday, I think it could maybe go either way. Now, if you win on Saturday and win a couple in the SEC tournament, yeah, you're probably locked in.
If you win on Saturday, according to the history of the committee, if you win on Saturday, you're a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Now this will be the year. I've been saying it every year. These tournaments have to matter. You play the games. They have to matter. The picks should not be done until that last game on Sunday. Now that's never been the case, but this year will be the case. Tennessee will get a first round exit in the SEC tournament. They'll beat Kentucky on Saturday, and they'll be a 2 seed because finally someone's going to listen to me. And that's just how life goes. And I understand that.
Yeah.
But as much as I'd love to win an SEC tournament championship as well, it's also one of those situations where you're like, would it be the worst thing if we got rest?
Yeah.
But I want to go win it. I want to make that abundantly clear. Here's the thing. Here's what I will say. I kind of don't want to play in the championship if we lose it. Like, get out of there before Sunday if you're going to lose.
Yeah.
If you play on Sunday, though, I mean, I'm in. Like, let's go. I will ride with you.
It's very much, and there's more to it with basketball, but baseball, it's like, guys, who cares? But if you make it to the championship, then yeah, you want to win it. But if you're not going to win the SEC tournament in baseball, there's no reason to even play a game.
I mean, I stand that the SEC teams that have already earned at-large bids shouldn't go. Again, because it doesn't matter. So just don't play those games. If you've secured an at-large bid, don't go. Let a team that hasn't gotten it go win an auto bid. What's the NCAA going to do?
Right.
What are they going to do?
Devin is in the chat, and he's telling us about how he was at the game last night.
Okay.
And he's right. Like he mentioned that South Carolina had a ton to play for. They were fighting for a share of that SEC title. They're fighting for, I don't know what the seeding would look like in terms of, if there was a 5-team share of the title, but
they would have been number 1 over Tennessee because that would have been 2 wins.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would have shaken out with the others, but there are tiebreakers to seed.
Yeah.
It's just not for outright.
Yeah. I just don't know exactly what that would have looked like. I guess it doesn't matter at the end of the day, but that was a March environment. That's a championship teams find a way to win those games, is what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Devin hit on another point too that I agree with. There's only one time. He said Barnes' timeouts were very well timed last night. There's only one time, and it wasn't that the game was getting away from Tennessee. It was just a few just a few offensive possessions that I felt like we could have slowed down. That I was thinking this would be a good time for a timeout. But I agree. He seemed to be more in tune with the flow of the game this year. But I also think there is a level to, and the Rick Barnes timeout haters, I definitely more agree with them. I'm not as hard on it, but the Rick Barnes timeouts haters aren't going to love this. You've got guys that have played in that system for 5 years. They've learned to play without them.
Yeah.
They've learned how to control the game in the flow of it.
I mean, you have guys making up plays in the timeouts. So.
Rick Barnes has never and will never get a guy that's played at that level as a starter or just a guy with a lot of minutes for 5 years ever again. I pray we don't have another pandemic that causes that, but he's taking advantage of it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was probably Vescovi's best 2-point game ever.
I mentioned it. The stat that I'll give credit to Wes Rucker. He tweeted this and did not make it about himself. And I've always said he's good at his job when he doesn't put his opinions or his self-righteous self into tweets. He's the one that I saw the stat from, 2 points, and he had the best plus minus on the team.
Yeah.
That is unreal. Because it's not like guys had 8-10 points across the board. You had a guy with 26. Adu had 14. Zakai had 13.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the best plus minus. And he played 28 minutes. It's not like he played 10.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And he played the least amount of every starter.
Yeah. I also didn't recognize this. I didn't realize how much we played Awaka, Gainey, and Meshack. You're getting pretty valuable minutes as you head into March from 3 guys. That's massive.
Yeah. But going back to Vescovi a little bit, sorry, I don't mean to.
No.
I just want to hit on this before we get too far away from it. But his defense on the ball was incredible. That play where I think Zakai was on Josh Gray, I think one of their bigs, if I remember correctly, and they switch off and Vescovi gets on him. It was like not much better. And they throw it into him and he just goes right around it and takes the ball from him.
Yeah. He's one of your best defensive players, and I threw out a hot take today at work. I'll see, kind of get your take on it. Vescovi is probably the most underrated, and I think he can for most teams the way basketball is nowadays. Mm-hmm. If you play a team with 2 really good bigs that they run a true 4, this probably isn't true, but most teams you play today, I think Vescovi can guard the 1 through 4 as good as anyone in the country.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Look at the job he did on Mark Sears.
I'm with you. Yeah, him and Jemai.
Jemai's a little bigger. Take some of those 5s in basketball nowadays.
He's a little bit quicker and more athletic than Vescovi, just based off sheer.
You're saying that because Vescovi's light skinned. That like he gets hate and because he's rolling around on the ground sometimes. He just doesn't look athletic doing it. He's super athletic because the behind the back passes. It's just, I think it's just like he's just not as fast or as no. Meshack covers more ground for sure, and Meshack in a lot of teams he can adequately guard the 5. Sure, he's not going to go down and bang around on the post with him, but he can guard the 5, and that's the same thing with Josiah. Josiah can guard 1 through 5. Again, not going to bang around with him, but he can. They can guard those positions for moments at a time. Yeah. Just all that to say, as good as this team's been, you would expect teams like this to not play as well defensively as they do. There's just 0 nights off defensively for this team.
And the defense always shows up. And I think that's what helps you in March is like you at least have that. Like defense is going to keep you in the game. And now you have offense to go with it.
Defense travels, baby.
The first part of the game, it wasn't even Dalton Connect. It was all Adu.
Yeah.
That got you on that hot start. And, we just kind of never lost it. And, Dalton Connect was just answering everything South Carolina was throwing at you. Zakai was running the offense efficiently. 1 turnover. Yeah, 1 turnover, 7 assists. That's what you're going to get with an elite guard like Zakai, and it's just so fun to watch.
I need a number 5 jersey, so I almost tweeted that last night. And I don't want it. I want it to support Ziegler, but I don't want it to have Ziegler on the back. So I just want to think about all the great number 5s you could be repping. But I need a number 5 jersey. White, probably, maybe orange. I don't know. I haven't decided, but I need a number 5 jersey. It goes into I like the cream look. I'm not a fan of throwing the script on everything.
Yeah.
It's just, it looks so
script either.
Oh, is it not? I didn't realize that.
Mm-mm. It's like the old basketball script, but it's not the same as the baseball script.
Oh, okay. I guess if it looks like an old basketball one, that's different. I just feel like script looks so baseball. Mm. I don't think it looks right on another uniform. I love the home jerseys that are, were throwbacks at one point. I love that look. Yeah. And if Alabama hadn't had those ugly high school girls basketball block letters on the back of their jerseys would have looked great when we played them.
Well, High School Musical? The Wildcats?
Yeah. With Troy Bolton.
That's who I thought we were playing. Yeah, Corbin Blue.
Yeah, I was trying to think of his name in the movie, but I don't remember it.
I don't either.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, just another great performance. I won't use the word phenomenal. It's phenomenal because of the outcome and what it meant. But another great performance. You did it in front of Grant Williams. Almost combined. What would a Grant Wilson look like? Oh my God, that dude would be a monster.
A Grant Wilson?
Because I almost combined Al Wilson and Grant Williams together, their
God.
names. So what would a Grant Wilson look like?
I mean, they would definitely lead the country in fouls. I'll tell you that.
Do you think Al Wilson is actually that mad all the time, or do you think he feels he has to portray that linebacker mantra, that the way he played? Or do you think he's like me? A lot of people think I'm upset all the time. I have a very stoic, if you will, resting face. Some people call RBF.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he has like a bad case of RBF.
I mean, when you're a mean linebacker for however many years, it's kind of hard not to, but
yeah. I think he looks for something to piss him off. Like kind of like tackling fuel, like Bobby Boucher, like he looks for something to just like
he wants to blitz.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
bad.
I think basketball, like if I was that kind of a linebacker, I think basketball would infuriate me.
Probably, well, not the way Tennessee plays it.
No. But I'm talking about like anytime there's like a contact, there's a whistle.
Well, so speaking of that, Tennessee,
a lot of people loves Tobe.
Yeah. A lot of people get mad at Tennessee because they think we don't get fouls called on us because of how physical we play. Especially when people drive, I think is where it's illuminated. They will blow the whistle so fast.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. And I think because they just kind of expect Tennessee to be physical in that moment. And so they're just sitting on that whistle. Now, I think Tennessee does get away with some because they set the tone every game. Which is, I mean, if you talk to any coach in any sport, they will tell you, set the tone, being physical out the gate. You want to make that ref early on see something hard and go, that's not a foul, because that's in their mind. They're human beings. So that part of that's just setting the tone, but I love it. Also, I need to look for it. Have you seen that podcast with Grant Williams? I can't remember whose it was. Where he talks about how Rick Barnes has a rule that like right at tip off, it's kind of just like free for all and you can just go hit whoever you want.
Yeah. I vaguely remember that. I can't remember what it is though.
And he was talking to North Carolina. Who was it?
Oh, it was Theo Pinson.
Yes. Yeah. And he said he got hit right out of the gate. And he was like, what is going on? And I just like, that's the only reason. If Urosh didn't tip off, he probably would have taken someone's head off.
Yeah. I think of that
Okay, also, real quick. If you have had the thought in the last 24 hours that Urosh Plavsic, love the guy, 7 feet, we love that. If you've had the thought for a minute that he would have thrived on this team, that he would have gotten minutes on this team, that he would have played well on this team, you're a moron. Why would you even think that, say that, tweet that, whatever that? You're crazy.
Yeah, he would probably be behind Estrella at this point.
If he played a minute on this team, I'd be concerned for Rick Barnes.
I mean, no one catfished their highlight tape like Urosh.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Insane. Anyway, sorry that I remembered I saw that tweet last night and I was like, no way this really was a thought in someone's mind.
Yeah. Yeah, what I was going to say.
I agree with Corey though. I honestly, I think this Kentucky game right now means a little bit more for me than if it was for an SEC title, because SEC title is great. You'll still have that win or lose Saturday, but it's kind of the same thing that, Kentucky tries to flex all theirs in the past, and not that I guess it's technically in the present, but you can't lose and then be like, well, we won the SEC regular season when you talk trash to Kentucky fans. Part of that, and I hate Kentucky with every fiber of my being.
Mm-hmm.
Please go win.
I was about to say, I think your sound cut out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're back.
Okay. I was saying I just hate Kentucky. I don't know if you heard that. I just want to make that loud and clear.
And I think this is a good, doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, it's great to go win, but you can kind of take a victory lap and just beat the brakes and not have to worry about it.
Score 200 on him.
Yeah.
I want John
Well,
Calipari to do this move so many times Saturday. So many times.
I want Vescovi to have a 25-point game and Cal just be like, dude, we stopped the other white guy. What about the other one?
I want him to wish he was wearing a tie so he could hang himself after. That's what I want.
I want Kentucky basketball to leave him on the tarmac. They won't because they're a ranked team.
Not Knoxville. I don't want him in Knoxville any longer than he has to be in Knoxville. Get him out.
Yeah.
I hate Kentucky. Yeah.
All the people that
let's
were
move
cheering
on.
for Tennessee on against South Carolina, and then will cheer for Kentucky basketball against Tennessee. Those people suck. I know we had kind of a whole podcast about Volcats and how much they suck, but they suck.
There's no way Volcats still exist, right?
They do. I know one.
He's still a Volcat.
Yeah.
Has he watched Tennessee Kentucky series in the last 8 years?
He says he grew up on Kentucky basketball. I'm like, dude.
I will say this. I think he's an idiot. I think he doesn't know ball. Kind of respect that though, that Kentucky's getting their ass whooped and he's still like, well, I am a Volcat.
Yeah, it must have been rough when Tennessee was beating the brakes off Kentucky in basketball, and then like our football program was not good either.
Well, Kentucky still rarely won, so that wasn't a toss-up.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, to watch Kentucky just get dumped on by the nicest guy in the world in Rick Barnes and still cheer for them, sure, it's moronic, but it's one of those that you like, how you like kind of respect stupid people for their dumb opinions? Yeah, I kind of respect that a little bit.
I was like,
I wouldn't want to be friends with him.
Yeah. Do you belong in a home, maybe? Like a facility of some sort?
Stand on your bad decisions.
Yeah. It's good though.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be mad in the moment. The likeliness of this season ending in an infuriating way, and the likeliness of this season ending in a way we don't want it to, is really high. It is a hard sport to win a championship in.
Sure. Please
don't be an asshole and not enjoy what's happening right now. And then in the moment if it happens, it's okay to be upset, but it's also not a reason to throw out a season that was really impressive.
Yeah, I think it was big because you've done something you haven't done on a very long time. I think if you didn't win,
anything, we can talk.
Yeah, exactly. That would be disappointing for a team this good to not win anything, not get any kind of accolades. But now that you got the one out of the way, hey, we're good.
Yeah,
you can get
for sure.
Let's go get two more.
Oh, two more things on South Carolina. Can I vent though? Like, am I allowed to vent?
Yeah.
Okay. Two things.
It's your show.
Can we please? It's your show too. Can we please stop saying, well, that was their Super Bowl, especially when there was actually a championship on the line. Of course, it was a Super Bowl, but I don't know if you saw that kid from Southern Miss that he said they were Mississippi State's Super Bowl. First off, it's our generation, Landon. Our generation and the one below us. I know I'm getting old, but at least I'm saying our generation. I'm not just blaming the others. We suck. When we lose, we pick up our ball and go home. We're like, I didn't even want to be here in the first place. No, it is not lame to want to win a game and to care about a game. And that day the game is happening, it's not okay for it to be the biggest thing in the world. Want to win, want to win at all cost. It is fun. It is cool to win. You know what's lame? Losing. Losing is lame. Being a loser is lame. If you lose, suck it up. Go win the next one. If you're over here like, oh, it was their Super Bowl, all you're telling me is that not only did you lose that game, you've been a loser for a long time. Yeah. And it tells me you're probably not going to win the next game because you don't care.
Yeah, that's the whole thing for me is like, if you're calling it somebody else's Super Bowl, are you saying that they just cared more?
Right.
That's on
you. Why is it lame to care? And I've made the joke, so I'm going to stop because it's clearly gotten past jokes. Like a player saying it is just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I would make him run so many stadiums.
I forget
that's embarrassing.
I forget what movie it is, but there's a movie where it's a comedy and they're just like, this guy's like reading. He's like, look at that kid reading. He's trying. What a loser.
That's it. It's cool not to care.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's the same. And I know I'm too competitive, but going into like pickup basketball and stuff, I'm not going to care afterwards. But like in the moment, I want to win. I care.
Yeah.
I hate the people that go out there and walk around, don't play defense. I know that's a different level when we're talking about SEC basketball, a literal championship on the line, or SEC baseball or whatever. But when you don't care about anything in life, like you're an insufferable human being.
Yeah.
Last thing I'm going to vent about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say something about South Carolina fans just saying that the refs were the reason they lost last night.
I was going to get into that. Yeah, that's my next vent.
5 for 10 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
I have a little something to do with it. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Also, there are plenty of egregious calls against Tennessee. So whatever. Also, where were they getting just ice from? They said they were throwing ice on the court. So like, was Coke coming out with it? Or was it did they just have cups of ice?
Yeah, so I guess it was a little warm in there, a little thirsty.
But like they didn't sound like water was getting thrown out there or Coke or whatever. It just sounded like just chunks of ice. I was just confused, but I also love that I can't remember who did it, but Meshack goes out and defend the three. He jumps away from the guy. So it wasn't even like he jumped into him and then the guy jumps forward, jumps away from the guy. And then dude goes completely horizontal, jumps into Meshack, and South Carolina fans want a foul. First off, that call doesn't get correctly most of the time. I will spot them that. It does not get called correctly most of the time. That's a point of emphasis, though, for NCAA officials. They are wanting to get rid of that foul. They do not want that foul. Also, you can't beg for a foul as a player and then expect to get it.
Yeah.
You can't go, here's I'm setting you up and then just expect to get it. Listen, I'm all for him trying to get that foul, but when you don't, you just go, all right, it's a day.
Well, that's not in the act of shooting. If you're trying to cause contact, like going out of your way to cause contact, that you're not in the act of shooting. It's not a shooting foul.
Right. My favorite thing too is that I think Meshack got him a little bit at the end with his hand, but because he tried so hard to earn it, the ref wouldn't have seen that because all he saw was you being a jack.
Yeah. Also, if you're doing that, you don't have any confidence that you were going to make that shot to begin with.
No, zero. Also,
No,
I have a lot of confidence based on that stat you just gave that you probably wouldn't have made, but maybe one of those free throws. So whatever.
Mm-hmm. How I think Rick Barnes is a wizard of some sort. Not sure
I like it.
Exactly what, but like how he's able to get the most feared scorer in college basketball open on every inbound is insane.
There are some inbound, it's very few, but there are some inbound plays that I'm like, what are we doing? And then there's some that I'm like, how is he that open?
He's always
so
open.
I think that means sometimes teams just luck into stopping plays. It's never on purpose based on the more times than not that it's just a wide open, whether it's Dalton Connect or Vescovi in the corner. Like someone's open.
And there was a lot the other night in the corner. Obviously the one that sticks out is the 4-point play, but the ones where he's butt naked under the rim, it's like, yo, you have one person that is lighting your team up. That is the only person I'm really concerned about.
Yeah.
And he's always open.
But Lana, that's a good thing about this team. Balance. Because it does look like a Dalton Connect show, but then you look at the box score and you're like, balance. So they can go to anybody. They can go to whoever they want. I love it, man. I love this team. I love this team so much. I'm so happy they got that. They deserve it. Josiah and Vescovy, they absolutely deserve after coming back again. Josiah at the time thought he wasn't even going to be on scholarship. Kind of defines what this team is. We talk about that here in a minute. It's just this is an impressive team. They have a lot more in front of them to do. We know that weird guy that went to Dartmouth. That's all he's probably got going for him. Surely he went to Dartmouth. You're not just a Dartmouth fan. But it's something to be celebrated. It has been a successful season. Let's kind of put that cherry on top on Saturday. Let's go take care of business.
Yeah. Let's keep collecting rings. Ring us. Ring us.
Do you get a ring? Do they do? Surely they. I mean, they do rings for bowl games. Surely they do a ring for a regular season.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, so it'd be cool to win 3 championships. How cool would it be to get 3 championship rings at the same ceremony?
Yeah, that's going to be a fat bill, but that's one Tennessee will pay for every time. They'll just increase tickets just a slight.
Did you see that historic revenue? They don't need to. They will, but they don't need to.
Yeah, they definitely will.
Rick Barnes can pay for it himself, I think.
Yeah. He's making quite a bit of money. And he doesn't even really have to coach. If Scobie's in the timeouts calling up plays.
Yeah.
That's
really I mean, we obviously go into it more here, but that's all I've got for now.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, go check out this Going Saturday. Go check out our exclusive interview with VFL Steve Hamer.
We now welcome onto the show a huge guest. It's Steve Hamer. VFL, you all know him. Y'all love him. And I say huge for a variety of reasons. Mainly, he's a 7-footer. We don't get many of those very often. That right there, that's awesome. Steve, how are you doing tonight?
Man, doing really, really well. Thank you guys so very much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do want to mention you got a title with the University of Tennessee. It's the Director of Letter Winner Relations. Am I saying that correctly? It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a mouthful for sure. It's a colloquialism for I'm our VFL director.
Okay.
So I've been in this role now for I don't know, a year and a half or so, man, and I really love the opportunity and relish the opportunities to reach out to our letter winners, past and present, and I'm charged with building a rapport with them and making sure that they've got a way to get back to university, man. So, I don't take that lightly because everyone that's donned the orange, from our rowing team to basketball to baseball, golf, tennis, they mean so much to our university, particularly our athletic department. And man, I'm charged with building that rapport, man, and making sure that they're welcome and feel a sense of connectivity.
That's awesome. You're also an analyst for the games this season for SEC Network Plus. What's that and the Vol Network? What has that kind of been like for you, just being that close to the court, and how hard is it to stay kind of unbiased?
Man, it's very hard to stay unbiased, particularly, when I've got such a rooting and vested interest in our basketball team. I've wanted to be in the realm of broadcasting, honestly, guys, since I can remember. And God has really blessed me with the opportunity to not only do it on, the SEC Network digital side, but to be able to travel with the basketball team as well and be a color analyst alongside, one of the greats in Bob Kessling. So I don't ever take that lightly, man. I'm extremely blessed and just love the opportunity. Again, since I can remember, I've always marveled at, the Marv Alberts and I could go on and on with the old timers, but I just remember watching them and thinking, how cool is that they get to sit courtside and watch some of the greatest athletes in the world perform at an elite level, and you get paid for it. So it's just absolutely amazing, and I'm just blessed to be able to have that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, now I'll let you be unbiased for a second here. How does it feel to be an SEC champion?
It feels great. This is a Big Orange podcast, so man, I can be
Absolutely.
as biased as I want to be.
Sure.
Again, having a vested and rooting interest in the University of Tennessee, having worn and donned the orange many years ago, it means a great deal for us to be able to capture outright the SEC regular season title for the first time since 2008. And it's a group of young men. I tweeted this last night, but the tenacity, the toughness, and the grit in which these guys display every single night is unmatched. It's unparalleled. The togetherness that they display. I think in years past we might have lost a game like what we had against Auburn, particularly when we were up by 9, then we got down by 8. I think we might have lost in years past against a formidable opponent like Alabama on the road, sellout crowd, game days there, but we pulled it out. And then, fast forward just a few nights later, you win the SEC outright and are now crowned regular season champs in Columbia, which, by the way, was the 6th straight AP top 25 opponent that the Vols have played, and you win it in a different manner every night. So I could not be more proud of this iteration of Tennessee basketball than I am right now.
You mentioned that kind of determination from this club is a little bit different than years past. What in particular are you seeing with this team that is different from every team since that probably 07-08 when they were the regular season champs?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that goes into it, but there's a couple of key facets that I find that are different about this particular team than the one that we watched 07-08. One of them is depth. I think top to bottom, this may be one of Coach Barnes's best teams in terms of talent. Whereas, 07-08, man, we were a really good team back then, but I think 1 through 5 were really, really good, and then it kind of tapered off after that. But, man, this team, on any given night, obviously we've got our superhero in Dalton Connect who could give you 30, 40 any night. But what's special is that you've got someone like Jemai Mashak, who is unheralded, who doesn't get all of the accolades, doesn't get all the glory, but he does all the dirty work. And for me, he was the MVP of that game against Alabama. The 3, and then running down the court and intercepting a pass like a defensive back. Those things, man, they don't go unnoticed. So I think that's one key aspect. And then the other is, I'm going to say it again, the connectivity of this basketball team. Coach Barnes kind of alluded to it last night when Director of Basketball Operations Mary Carter pulled him aside and said, Coach, this team really loves one another. And Coach Barnes said, you know what, they really do. They love being around one another. They love being in the gym. They love the aspect of playing together and playing for a common goal. And it shows on the court. It really shows when these guys get together. It shows that they put in the work in the offseason. They've done all of the work necessary to have an extra special season and to continue to play not only guys in March, but hopefully in April as well.
Yeah, and going back to Jemai, there's not a coach in the country, surely not, that would not love to have Jemai Mashak and Tobe Awaka coming off the bench for them. I mean, those are, like you said, the depth on this team is just it's unreal. And then another thing that goes into the cohesiveness and connectivity of this team. Everyone seems to know their role. I think it's gotten lost this year on a lot of people that, especially Vescovi, he's had to kind of take a step back a little bit in the scoring department. The stats don't look the same because of guys like Dalton Connect. There's just not room for it. Is this one of the better coaching jobs that Rick Barnes has done for that reason, that guys have had to not only change roles, but it seems like everyone knows their role on this team, it seems?
Yeah, that's a great point and a great question, because if you go back roughly 5 months ago, Santiago Vescovi is pinned as a first-team All-SEC player.
Mm.
I don't have the box score in front of me from last night, but I believe that he scored 2 points.
Yep.
Can I give you another
Yeah, go ahead.
crazy stat? He had 2 points. A teammate of his had 26. He led the team in plus minus.
Yes.
That is wild.
It speaks to the roles in which everyone knows. Now, obviously they live by the moniker ENOM, which stands for "It's not about me." Never has that been more prevalent than it is this year. Because look, if you're a first team All SEC guy, you've garnered all the accolades preseason. You've done it at such an elite level. Some guys would have a tendency to say, you know what, man, if you're not going to run a play for me, I'm going to take off the next couple of sequences on the defensive end. Okay. I'm just not going to give my effort in practice anymore. I'm not going to run as hard in conditioning. But that's not what Santiago, that's not what Josiah Jordan-James, that's not what Jemai Mason, that's not what those guys do, because there's a greater goal. There's a commonality and a goal in that, look, I don't care who gets the credit. I just want to win. And that's what it boils down to. You just intimated, man, Santi's got the highest plus minus on the team from last night. Well, that just tells me that, you know what, I can have my fingerprints on the game in a myriad of other ways. Defensively, I can get my hands in passing lanes. I can get 3 or 4 steals. I don't have to be that guy that scores every single night. But you know what, though? Here's the difference. I can be if need be. I can still, don't sleep on me now. I can still give you 12 to 15 if need be. But even beyond that, Santi still got the belief in Coach Barnes. Look, when you guys probably saw this as well as I did, when they come back from a timeout and they show Santiago sitting next to Coach Barnes with the clipboard and drawing up the play, not for himself, but drawing up a play to get Dalton Connect open, man, I'm telling you, it's a special team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another kind of guy that's had a change of roles from last year is the guy that played your position, Jonas Adu. Another lanky, and I think he's on his way. I don't know if he's a first-team All-SEC, but he better be second, or there's going to be a lot of Tennessee fans and some mentions elsewhere. But what is a guy like – how easier of a job is it for a guy like Jonas Adu in that position to not have to be the focal point because you have a great scorer like Dalton Connect? When you played with a guy – a lot of people know Allen Houston. How much easier did that make your job?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Jonas has the luxury of obviously he's very talented. He's a rim protector extraordinaire, great rebounder, great hands. Has such a really good touch with even though he's not a southpaw, man. You wouldn't know it, right? Because he shoots with the left so much in terms of the soft jump hook or left hand baby finish at the rim. But what speaks to how special it is for Jonas, don't forget that the lineup in which he plays with Joe, with Santi, with Zakai, and with Dalton, teams can't really make him the focal point in terms of guarding him defensively. If you put too much attention on Jonas and double team him, Jonas is a very willing passer and a very capable passer, and there are 4 guys on the floor with him that can knock down a 3. When you also talk about putting Jonas in a high pick and roll action, well, I mean, it's really pick your poison, right? Because if you hedge too hard on that screen, on the high ball pick and roll, he's going to roll to the basket. And because we've got shooters all over the floor, man, you're either going to switch or you're going to give up an open dunk. Conversely, if you play drop coverage on the pick and roll and you don't come up and guard whoever Jonas is guarding or setting the screen for, you're going to leave him wide open for a knockdown three. So, and Jonas can be a pick and pop as well. Let's not forget that. He's got some threes on the season. He's got a soft touch. So, man, it's really a pick your poison, and he fits perfectly into Coach Barnes' scheme that he can stretch the floor, he's agile, he can run, and he can finish at the rim.
Yeah, and you talked about it. Jonas is great from 15 feet. I think this team as a whole, you have Dalton Connect, who has that beautiful just stop and plant jumper from 15. Josiah, that might be where he's best at. You getting some remnants of old basketball in there. Not a lot of people are taking 15-footers. I mean, famously, they ran it all over. Nate Oates, I don't think lets his guys take 15-footers.
Yeah, I don't even think that's in Nate Oates' arsenal, right? If they're not shooting 45 threes a game, man, I mean, something's wrong. But it is a lost art, guys. It's a lost art, man. And I blame, at the risk of playing the role of grandpa, right? Get off my lawn. I blame AAU, man. I blame a lot of that because a lot of kids nowadays, man, as soon as they want to get into the gym, they either want to try to dunk or shoot a three. And the 15 feet and in is just marginalized now, man. Nobody wants to do it. But you know what? It still counts for 2 points. And if you're going down and you're scoring two from 15 feet and in, and the opposing team is going down and jacking up threes and they're missing them, I like my chances in that game. And for Coach Barnes to run that floppy action a lot where he's got two screeners on either block and it's up to Dalton Connect to choose which side he's going to come off of. Well, Dalton has a tendency to curl that screen and get to that, that pinch post there or get to the nail, get to the elbow, and he's deadly. Conversely, you've also got Josiah Jordan-James, man, that can just work his way in and reverse pivot, man, and knock it down over anyone. So it's a lost art, but man, I'm glad that Coach Barnes hasn't lost that art.
Yeah, and we're getting right into tournament time, and this team has won, it seems like, some tournament games over the past few weeks. What is the X factor for Tennessee to be the last team standing at the end of this?
Another really good question. For me, I think the X factor, we talked about this, but I think the X factor has to be Josiah Jordan-James and Santiago Vescovi. I think we're to the point now in this season in which the book is out, man. There's nothing new under the sun. The book is out on everything that we do. Our opponents know what we're going to do, and yet we still find a way to get it done. But with that being said, we know what we're going to get out of Zakai pretty much, right? We're going to get anywhere from 5 to 10 assists, low turnover, 1, maybe 2 turnovers. We know what we're going to get out of Jonas Adu. We're hoping to get anywhere from 12 to 18 points, 8-9 rebounds. We know what we're going to get from Dalton Connect. Even on an off night, he's going to still give you 18, 20, and several rebounds. The key is, what can Santi give us consistently on a tournament run? Because you're gonna run into a team like an FAU that's going to force your hand in terms of, I'm not going to let Dalton Connect beat me. I'm just not. Every time he gets the ball, I'm going to run 2 at him. And he's going to have to pass it to Santi. He's going to have to pass it to Joe. And they're going to be the ones that beat us. So I think that alone is the X factor. If they can give us productivity on a consistent basis, I firmly, guys, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a homer or anything like that, but I firmly believe that we can be the last team standing. I don't know if you saw the great Wally Zerbiak, his comments earlier last night or maybe today, where he talked about is Zach Edey the player of the year, and the panel in which he joined, everyone said, "Oh, Zach Edey, he's the runaway player of the year, man. You know, he's double, improved the numbers from last year. He's gotten better. He's more agile." Wally Zerbiak said, "Whoa, guys, wait a minute. The player of the year nationally is Dalton Connect, and the team to beat nationally is the University of Tennessee." So I can't find any room to differ with Wally Zerbiak, man. I think that this team, when they put it all together, can be the last team standing.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned
fired
those
up.
two guys. Yeah, for real. I'm glad you mentioned those two guys because I gave a maybe hot take only because it may not be enough. So I want to get your thoughts. I said if Josiah and Santiago, between the two of them, score 16 points in a game, Tennessee will not lose. That's assuming they do what they do defensively, but 16 points they won't lose between the two of them.
100%. Let's go back and look at look at the Alabama game. And again, I don't have the box score in front of me, but Santi looked like the Santi of old, man, knocking down threes. Joe had a huge three in the corner, got to the 10 and finished at the basket, got to the free throw line. I could not agree more. If they can give you 8 to 10 points apiece and you get that that normal scoring from Dalton, you get the normal scoring from Zakai, man, there's not a whole lot of teams in the country that are going to give you 1 through 5 scoring. It just doesn't happen. Even if you go to Purdue and look at Purdue, they got the kid that lit us up for roughly 25 points. His name is escaping me right now, out in Honolulu. Great scorer, take nothing from him. Then you got Zach Edey on the interior. But the other three guys, man, they're not going to give you that every night. And were it not, I think it's I cannot remember his name, but the kid that lit us up on the perimeter, let's say he scores 10 to 15 points. That's it. It's Lawyer.
Yeah.
Let's say he scores a normal game of 10 to 12 and Zach Edey gets 25. Well, I'll take my chances, guys. I don't believe the other three guys are going to beat us. So, I think those guys are going to be our X factor. And we can ride with those guys, man, because they've been there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fired up for March just because I think this is the year that, I mean, anybody can win it. I feel like, there's not a clear cut number one team right now, but I feel like Tennessee is as good as anybody. And I'm not looking at the bracket right now, whatever the projections are, and just being like, oh yeah, like, I don't want to face that team and that team and that team. I'm like, they got to come play us. We're now the team that nobody wants to play.
Yeah. I completely agree. And with that, it's one thing to be the hunted, but it's quite another thing to be the hunter. And I think that Tennessee earlier on this year, because of the name that was associated with the University of, or the number that was associated with the University of Tennessee, we were the hunted. And it took us a while, man, to settle in and just embrace that role of being, okay, all right, we're gonna get everybody's best shot. All right, that's fine. We're gonna play. We're gonna play the right way. We're gonna do what we've done in practice, and we're gonna come out with a W. Because we've got expertise, we've got depth, we've got shooting, we've got size, we've got skill at every position. So it's right now. We have done such a wonderful job of being in tournament mode already. You looked at the last 4 games of this season and you wondered, man, could this team go 3-1? It's going to be tough. You go to Alabama, you got Auburn, you go to South Carolina, then you play Kentucky, man. This team has a chance to go 4-0. And you better believe this is just like a tournament run, man, where each and every night you're going to get someone's best. And kudos to Coach Barnes and that wonderful staff, man, for getting the guys to understand that your tournament run's already started. And man, you got a lot to play for.
Yeah. They can't reiterate enough how huge the last 3 games are. It's going to be big if you can close out the season strong on Saturday. We've talked about it. If you want to win what you want to win here, you got to go perfect the next, I think it was 13 games at that point. So it definitely a tall task, but like Landon said, Tennessee has the components for it. So I'm fired up. I did want to ask you one personal question here, as I did some little research on you. You're a Grand Junction guy. I think you get associated with Memphis, which is fair, but Grand Junction. I was on the Wikipedia last night. I saw there was a population spike, about 120, grew about 120 people to 484 in early 2000, right around the time you were drafted and you're by the Boston Celtics. Do you think that was because of you? People started moving there. You put Grand Junction on the map?
No, I certainly didn't put them on the map, but I can tell you this much, man. As crazy as this may sound, just my next door neighbor. Okay, so if you go back and you look at the most recent census, I believe it will tell you that there's roughly 330 people that live there now. So when I grew up, obviously a lot less than that. But my next door neighbor, you guys are too young to remember who this is, but my next door neighbor was Bobby Parks. Bobby Parks played at Memphis State University, was an all-conference player, and literally did not get drafted in the NBA, but went on to have like a 15, 20-year career in the Philippines, and just did extraordinarily well. Well, with that being said, you know, it's pretty incredible that 2 guys that were next door neighbors from a town of about 300 people would go on and play, you know, collegiately and professionally. You know, Grand Junction, man, we don't have any stoplights. We got a few stop signs. We're known for the National Bird Dog Field Museum, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I never went there. So,
I was gonna ask you about that. I was confused. So
yeah, man, it was a big thing back in the day. The National Bird Dog Field Trials were held in Grand Junction, Tennessee, at a place called Ames Plantation every single year. And man, people would come and the town would swell to about 1,000 people for a few days. And I never, you know, that didn't interest my mom and my dad, so I never went. But that was our claim to fame, man. And it still holds a very dear spot in my heart, man, because it was like the town of Mayberry, man, where everyone knew one another and just a small hometown feel, man, that I owe a lot to.
So Caleb thinks the population spiked because you got drafted by the Celtics. I think it might be when you had 31-21 against Alabama. When you do something like that against Alabama, I mean, Jalen Hyatt can tell you you will not have to pay for another meal in Knoxville ever again.
Well, I don't know if we can you know, really and honestly say that that's why it spiked, but I will tell you this much: it's always special beating Alabama in any sport.
Absolutely.
In any sport, man. If we're playing tiddlywinks and dominoes, man, I want to crush the University of Alabama. So it's always special.
That's awesome.
Love that.
Hey, I got one more question for you. You know, talking about you getting drafted, pretty famous draft class there with Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, Ray Allen, Kobe Bryant. I don't know if you know him or not, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
You know, what was that kind of like, just be kind of associated and just kind of being on the same kind of wavelength as those guys?
It was absolutely fantastic. And I was humbled to be a part. You know, I grew up hating the Celtics, man, with a passion. I really did. It is, man. God's got a sense of humor because, man, I literally hated the Celtics with a passion, man. I can remember my dad like getting on to me because every single time we didn't have cable growing up, so we would watch the CBS game of the week. And, more times than not, the Celtics were on there, man. And I would get so mad because they got all the calls, they got the players. And my dad would get on to me and it's like, man, you better, calm down, control yourself. And then I ended up getting drafted by the Celtics. So, you talk about just one of the most storied franchises in all of sports, not just basketball, but all of sports with the amount of world championships that they've won and the people that came before me and now the people that have obviously come along after me. Man, it was awesome. But when you look back at the totality of that particular class that went in, I don't some think that it's probably the deepest class that there ever was, right?
It's insane.
You got Kerry Kittles and Antoine Walker and you got all these guys, man, that went on to have these tremendous careers. And just to be a part of it, man, is very, very special.
Yeah.
Well, last question, since Landon brought up that draft class, we've seen Allen Iverson's, we've seen Kobe Bryant's suit. How ill-fitting was your suit on draft night?
Oh man, I will tell you this, man. I'll tell you this. My wife's sitting right here next to me, and if she would have seen me in this outfit, well, she probably wouldn't be sitting next to me. So, I well remember, man. I went to Westtown Mall, and I didn't go up to draft night or do anything like that, but I went to Westtown Mall before I went to Nashville. My brother, I went to one of my brother's house in Nashville, and was going to have a watch party there with my mom and my dad and just, some friends and stuff like that. So I said, man, I'm going to do it right, guys. And I went to Back Rack. You guys probably never heard of Back Rack, man, but I got these shorts, these colorful shorts, man. And I got like a cardigan, wearable, man. It wasn't a good look. I'm glad that there's no footage that from that draft night.
That's awesome. Real quick, you don't have you and Rick Pitino made up any?
I will say this. I haven't spoken to Rick Pitino. I found out, guys, this is a true story. I found out that I was waived by the Boston Celtics while sitting at Thompson Bowling Arena reading the Knoxville News Sentinel, the transaction page. And I back in the day, that's how all news was disseminated, right? Right. You had to read the newspaper, you had to read the sports to see who was waived, who was cut, who was signed. And man, I just happened to be sitting there and I was reading the paper and I saw my name and it said the Boston Celtics, waived Steve Hamer. Well, I never got a call from the Celtics. I never got a, hey man, thank you. Or, hey, you want to come and work out with us? I never got that from Rick Pitino. And man, that hurt for a long time, just in the spirit of transparency. It hurt for a long time, but man, I'm not going to harbor any ill will for.
But you're not cheering for St. John's, are you?
I'm not necessarily cheering for St. John's. I would say that, but it is what it is. It's a business, and I was a young man that didn't understand that, man. It's a business, and I learned right away that when you're in college, man, kids are playing for rings and watches. In the NBA, you're playing for houses and cars. Yeah. And it took me a while to understand that. So, man, it's all good. I love the Celtics now. I still have not taken my wife and kids up to a Celtics game, but I hope to do so at some point very, very soon.
That's awesome. Hey, well, this is all. I had a great time. I love talking ball. You do a great job of, getting into the nitty gritty of basketball. So after we win a natty, we'll just do this again.
Yeah.
Well, man, anytime, man, I'm honored to be on with you guys. I'm a talker. I love talking ball, man, and I'm sure it drives my wife crazy, but it's just it's in my fiber. So. And I appreciate this opportunity, man. Look forward to being on with you guys again sometime soon.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you again, and have a good rest of your night. And let's get a win over Kentucky Saturday. Kind of really complete the regular season.
I love it, man. Let's go 4-0 down this stretch, man. That'd be awesome.
Yes, sir. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Thanks, Steve.
Some names for you. They're more than welcome to do that. It will not be.
That was VFL Steve Hamer. Appreciate him hopping on the show. Good time talking a little ball.
Yeah. Yeah, he does a great job. And every time I've talked with Steve, just an all-time guy. So if you ever see him out, he's very easy to spot in a room, being a 7-footer. So go talk to him, and I'm sure he would absolutely enjoy that.
If you didn't know him before and you just saw that interview, for me, I wouldn't have guessed I was talking to a human being he just doesn't have a 7-foot tall demeanor,
yeah.
Usually those are scary dudes, and he's just so nice. Just
yeah.
Now I'm sure he can hoop. He can hoop.
I'm sure in the post it's a little different story.
There's some SEC defenders who would disagree with me, but
exactly.
Yeah, that's it was great getting to talk to him and hearing just kind of his thoughts overall on this team, Tennessee basketball as a whole, and getting some good stories from basketball days, and just kind of getting to just talk shop with him. It's always a good time. Can't wait to do it again. He agreed. You heard him. You guys heard him. He agreed. It's happening again. So can't wait.
Already got him locked down. All right. Well, you got a good friend to tell us about.
I do. I'm glad you said something because you texted me about it and I wasn't prepared at all. I'm telling you guys, I'm all over the place. It's been a day, dude. You know what though? Tomorrow morning's not going to be that bad.
You're still a champion though.
I am still a champion, and I'm always going to have a good wake me up because of Great Egg Grounds coffee. Yeah, it's Great Egg Grounds, phenomenal stuff. Best part about it, local coffee roasting company. They're in Kingsport, Tennessee. They are owned by 2 educators, both in the Johnson City area. They do, if you know teachers, they know their coffee. And so you're getting into the good stuff here. Not only do they make great coffee, they also use this venture here to better the community. Every donation or every purchase is going to 5% of that purchase is going to be donated to a nonprofit in the Tri-Cities area called Coalition for Kids. That money's going directly towards keeping a classroom stocked with necessary supplies needed for students and teachers. They also, those students and teachers that you're helping supply, they're also, if you've seen their awesome labels, those are created by students. You'll get their first name and their school name to give them recognition. And that's done through a partnership with schools and art teachers to have those students create it. So just all around great stuff. Love Great Egg Grounds. Love the wake me up I get in the morning. Love seeing this, seeing my purchase going towards classrooms. And not my local community anymore, but at one time a local community. And I don't know about you, Landon, I kind of consider East Tennessee, really all of Tennessee, kind of local in a way.
Yeah.
Except for, I don't know, I'm trying to think of just a place I really despise. Brentwood, somewhere like that. I don't consider that my local community.
Yeah, anywhere that Penny Hardaway's at, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good point too.
Yeah.
But shout out to Great Egg Grounds. I took that one off the beat. If it wasn't 9:30, if it wasn't 9:30 at night, I would be drinking coffee right now. It's been a week, it's been a day. Tomorrow's Friday, thank God.
Yeah, needed it. Yeah, hey, let's get into some baseball real quick. A little midweek action before Tennessee takes on Illinois.
I know we're gonna talk about them, so I brought a little something to get a nice celly in for our man throwing for queso. I got the cotton candy curveball today.
10 Ks, man.
I mean, I feel like I have to chew this whole bag in honor of
Oh my
Xander.
gosh. That's a lot.
You think I can do it?
I have faith in you. Dude, it's harder to chew than you think.
How much did you get in when we had him on the show? You had a lot in.
Yeah, probably about at least half. But it's a lot. Your jaw's gonna be barking here in a second.
I think I can get in all of it before the end of the episode.
Okay. All right.
I'll put the microphone away so you don't hear me chew him. Because you do have to be aggressive with it.
Yeah, you do. Guys, got it rolling. Tuesday, Kansas State. That was a Dean Curley show. In case y'all were wondering, Kansas State didn't actually show up. Dean Curley was out there just hitting batting practice. 9 RBIs, 3 bombs, was just inches away from the home run cycle. Just incredible stuff from the freshman. He was the first Tennessee freshman to ever hit 3 home runs in a single game. I think he's the 6th player in Tennessee history to hit 3 home runs in a game. The last player to do it was another friend of the show, Evan Russell. That was just fun. That was just an absolute beatdown. Kansas State wants to throw their ace. Guess what? Sign us up. Get him out. 4 home runs given up.
Will someone tag
runs?
Xander real quick in this tweet so I don't feel like I'm wasting my efforts? I need him to see what I'm doing. Dean Curley. I mean, I was at a high school soccer game watching my nephews play, and people were asking me about what was going on in that game. I feel like every 5 minutes I was turning around being like, Dean Curley did it again.
Yeah.
Hey, shocker, Dean Curley did it again.
Yeah, and he got for the home run cycle, he got the 3 toughest ones out of the way. It was just a solo shot. If it was 75 degrees instead of 58, I think that ball's out of here.
I didn't have the volume turned up, but it sounds like someone thought it was gone.
Yeah, the announcer is just like, he has done it. Caught. What? Yeah, you got to have a little bit better. His depth perception wasn't on.
Dude, you tweeted it about Kansas State while are they throwing to him right now? If they hadn't thrown to him on that last one, especially, I would have stormed the Kansas State Capitol. That's ridiculous. You have to find out if you can do it.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody was just hitting that game. Blake Burke had 2 hits. Christian Moore had 2 hits. Billy Amick, another bomb for him, had 2 hits. Dylan Dreiling had a bomb, had 2 hits. Dean Curley was 3 for 5, all 3 home runs. I think he has, in this game, I think he had 12 at bats and 7 were home runs or 6 were home runs. It's insane.
It's a home run. Getting back into it, baby. It's a home run show.
It is. Yeah, Tennessee ended up hitting 6 that night. And then I guess we used them up. Kind of like, in softball, you only get a certain amount of home runs you can use because against Southern Indiana, I don't know what was happening. I mean, Kansas State threw their ace and couldn't do it. Like, we destroyed them. Southern Indiana came and just shoved.
How did they play last night? That weather was awful.
Yeah, I think that definitely had something to do with it. And also, we just 12 strikeouts. We only had 6 hits on the night. Christian Moore had a home run, and then Dalton Bargo hit still going, huh?
Dude, you're not wrong. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it, but I said I was going to. I'm gonna put this whole bag.
It's a lot.
You're 10 strikeouts, Landon.
10. You gotta do it.
I don't have queso in front of me. We just eat that.
Do it for the guy.
Yeah.
And then Dalton Bargo hit a sacrifice fly to score Blake Burke to take the lead. But the only reason why you were in striking distance is because our guy, Xander Seacrest, on the bump, shoving. 10 Ks, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk. 10 Ks. 10. I give it a 10.
Hey.
Fire me up, man.
I'll chew to that.
Yeah. And then we got his buddy, Kirby, just slamming the door. 3 innings, No hits, no runs, no walks, and 4 Ks. Just slamming the door. Getting the win, easy money. We didn't really have to do anything on offense because our pitchers were just shoving. It was fun to watch.
Do you think Kirby's trying to figure out what the hell happened? How he ended up playing 3 innings of baseball? When's the last time you think he played 3 innings of baseball?
I mean, he might have to take like a whole month off. He was
Like
definitely
Tony.
in the ice bath.
I thought we had a deal, brother. I come out, I throw 3 pitches, I get you an out or 2, and I'm out of here.
Yeah.
No, he's so much fun on the mound.
Like
he's an athlete you should root for because he's fun to watch, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everything he does is just interesting. But yeah,
he both looks like a new age pitcher and someone you'd see thrown in like the 1950s.
Oh yeah, he's
very
got the best of both worlds.
He might be the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah, he should do like number one. He should come on the show. Him and Xander coming on the show, that would be awesome. We can get that going. Yeah, he's just so fun to watch. His antics, the stash, his hair, his hat looks disgusting. I mean, it's awesome. But yeah, good to see those 2 guys get it done in the midweek. It's good to see Xander get the pitch. I feel like we get to see him like 1 inning and that's it. I want to see him go. Let's let the dog eat.
Whole bag of Big League Chew, Tony. You can't go through that in an inning.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to get this NIL deal going, man. We got to get the money's worth.
I hope he's still getting the rolling in.
Oh, me too, man. Yeah, ask him about it. But yeah, Tennessee's got a date with Illinois this weekend at Lindsey Nelson. And not a great team by any means. It should be a team that you take care of, but it is a, Power 5 program. I guess it doesn't really matter with baseball, but
I don't know, man.
They are in the Big Ten.
It's our
not a great conference. But I think this is a good kind of where you at game or where you at series before you take on Alabama in 2 weeks.
100%. It's not. It's I guess the closest thing we'll get to. It's a full series. It's not like Texas. So it's a full series. Kind of feels like you're getting into conference play without getting into conference play. Mm-hmm. Yeah, should be Friday and Saturday, I think. Wait, did they start calling for rain on Saturday?
I'm sure.
I think tomorrow's supposed to be.
Anytime I'm off work, it's raining.
Only 50% chance. Only 50%, Landon. Don't get carried away on me.
So they are 5-6 on the year so far. Lost to Wake Forest 5-2. Lost to Coastal Carolina. Lost a game to Akron, Cincinnati, Ball State. They lost to Florida State also. They did beat Michigan State. So I guess they're already in kind of conference play, I guess. I don't know how they played in like a tournament and played a conference opponent, but whatever. They beat them. But yeah, I feel like they've won games that they better win and lost games that they should have lost. So hopefully we get it's kind of dirty over there at Lindsey Nelson. Need a little clean sweep this weekend. Hopefully you see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of bombs.
Yeah.
Let's get the bats hot again. They cooled off a little bit, Southern Indiana. Let's get them hot again.
Do you think they let that guy back into Lindsey Nelson?
No, not a chance.
Why are people claiming to be him? Why are they? Are people that? Do they not get attention at home?
I don't know. It's like sorry, too much.
People are weird.
Like that's not a good excuse.
I think based on I saw other people tweeting it, I don't think it was actually that guy. Also, it's an anonymous account. Why are you apologizing? No one knows who you are.
Yeah. I feel like it was just like a plea to maybe meet Tony or Blake Burke. I don't know.
That's a good idea. Just say you did and be like, yeah, it actually wasn't me. Like you show up and Tony's like, I know who this guy was. It's not you. I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to say hey.
He was an old man. He had a beard.
Also, it'd be incredibly bold to think that would be a way to meet them because he sounds like he hates you.
Yeah. Probably not the best plan there. I don't know. I don't know what was said. I don't really want to know. I hope people were there that heard it, kind of nipped it in the bud. But
people did.
I hope. That's my hope. I don't know.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah. From him, just if Tony's noticing it, it probably was not, but probably should have been. I understand, like, if it was a Tennessee fan, why are you heckling our own players? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's one thing to go at the right fielder for Missouri because he's the worst player on the field.
Ugly black cleats.
Yeah. Who had an error. How do you have an error in right field? Done?
It's for you, Xander. Hey, and I'll do it again.
Yeah. It's
worth it. Worth the 10 strikeouts.
Yeah. Bad look for that guy. Ooh. Hopefully he's just not allowed in Lindsey Nelson. That'd be great.
Okay, let's pretend it was that one guy. I'm sorry to stay on this. Who gets so drunk on a Tuesday night or Wednesday night
against Southern Indiana
that you're heckling your own player? Yeah.
I don't know. Let's pick the game where there's the least amount of people there, and let's go to that and get hammered.
I'm in. All right. Stupidity.
Before we do that, I do have a good friend to tell you guys about. Guys, go check out Roback, roback.com. Use promo code More Important Issues, get you 20% off your first purchase. They have the best quality Q-zips, hoodies, polos, shirts, shorts, joggers, pants, whatever you want, they got it. It's just all-time quality. You want to wear it. It's stuff that you want to wear again and again. It's stuff that when you take it off, it doesn't like, you know how some clothes, it just feels dirty. You got to put in the dirty clothes. This one you take off, you're like, oh, I can wear this like 4 more times before I actually have to wash it again. I don't recommend it, but you can do that. It's that good of quality. So go check them out, roback.com. Use promo code More Important Issues to get you 20% off your first purchase. Stupidity.
Do it. I've got a few here.
Okay, go ahead.
Big game boomer. After the A&M game, he tweeted, Tennessee is in serious trouble. They're trending down at the wrong time. Hot, cold takes exposed. Wait, Landon, that's not all. He quote tweets it today. Said the funniest thing about taking a couple days off this app is coming back to nothing but Tennessee fans in my mentions mad about this take. The Vols still won't make it past the first weekend. Brother, your take was just wrong. You were wrong. Own it. Be wrong. It's okay. Yeah. Not all of us can see the future. He would have victory lapped that if he was right. Number 2, the Vols still won't make it past the first weekend. What does that mean? They made it past first weekend last year. So what does still mean? I tweeted this right before the show. He combined 2 of the most insufferable traits for humans to have into one tweet. Can't admit you're wrong, and then just say things for clicks. Just say things to either get replies or retweets.
Yeah.
I'm out on Big Game Boomer. Don't put us on your list anymore. It won't even be an honor anymore. Don't do it.
It's an insult.
If we get on that list next year in any way, I think we should publicly refuse it. Trade it out. Give it to someone else.
Or just be like, hey, if you don't take our we're suing you for defamation.
I mean, just say you don't have rights to use our name.
Yeah. Get our name out your mouth.
Dude, it would be awesome if we drafted like a cease and desist and sent it to him for that. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
We're doing that. Good call, Landon. That was great. Great call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just don't understand. Like, If you know Tennessee fans are going to come after you, why poke? Why? It's not going to get any worse, or it's not going to get any better. Sorry, it's not.
I understand.
I got one. I'm not going to say the person's name, but this was a tweet going around Vol Twitter. They said Joe Milton is a top 10 quarterback in the history of Tennessee football. I said it. Logs off Twitter. If you have to log off Twitter after you make a statement, probably a dumb statement. Guys, top 10.
Probably.
I mean, number one, like, there's not that many quarterbacks, but I can name 10 that are better than Joe Milton. And no offense to Joe. I like Joe, but he's not a top
Love Joe.
quarterback.
Incredibly thankful what he did for the program.
Yeah.
Not a top 10 quarterback.
No, not even close. You have Dobbs. You have Manning, Ainge, Clausen,
Martin, Clausen,
Schuler, Robinson.
You can probably even argue
Crompton. Can we go Crompton?
his senior year was far better than Joe's.
Yeah.
Nah, not far better. He didn't have as good of a team.
Yeah.
He was better. He was better, I think.
Yeah. Andy Kelly?
I almost said Andy Kelly. I was like, I don't know if that'd be a hot take. I don't even know how many you just named.
It's close to 10.
It was close. It was up there.
Yeah. Hendon? It's another one.
You didn't, yeah. You didn't name Hendon. Nico? Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
I mean,
But, nah.
who had a better bowl game? I don't know. They were both MVP. I guess. I mean, I guess you just have. If Nico beats Florida next year, is it over? Is he already surpassed Joe?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that was.
Did you name James Banks? Wasn't he like the third string quarterback?
Yeah, I was thinking about Brian
Aaron Berry
Maurer,
played a couple snaps at quarterback. Juwan Jennings.
Yeah. AJ Johnson.
Good call.
Yeah. There's a number you can name. Who threw the pass to Alex Ellis?
What was that dude's name? He was a Morristown guy, maybe. No, not Morristown.
Was it Vic Wharton?
It was. He just held. All he did was hold.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler.
That guy, whoever he was. Yeah,
What was his name, dude?
He was a Morristown quarterback. I do remember that.
I don't remember his name now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go like kind of obscure.
Oh, Condrich Holloway's another one. Sorry.
Oh, good one. I have one.
Okay.
Daryl Dickey.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, probably. I mean, he's the reason Tony Robinson probably was a Heisman candidate. Then Daryl Dickey finished the season out. He got injured like what, fourth game of the season? Fifth game of the season?
If you want to have a great time, just go on the list of Tennessee quarterbacks. I think it's on Wikipedia, and just all the names in like the early 1900s. Hilarious.
I don't know if I've ever looked at them.
It's awesome. I did it today. Awesome. I wish I could remember some of those names, but I don't have a great memory. And there were so many that I laughed at. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if this is considered a superpower, but the question of like, what would your superpower be? Mine would 100% be photographic memory.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Again, don't think it's a superpower, but Strang Nicklin. That's an all-time name.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what I'm naming my first child. Sax Crawford.
Yeah, it's Sax Crawford. I remember that one.
Okay, this one isn't like all that crazy, but you have two that are their name is T.R. Watkins and J.C. Laux. Great names. Rufus Branch. All-time name.
Beady Feathers.
I like that. You have Red Rainey and Buck Hatcher, and sandwiched between them is Bill May.
What about Phil Dickens?
Ooh, this is a fancy name. D. Vincent Tudor.
Oh, or Dewey Warren. I mean, these are like the best.
Dewey Warren. Okay, I almost said Dewey Warren. I was for some reason thinking he played like halfback or whatever they called it in the day. Swamp Rat, Dewey Warren. Yeah.
But Johnny Majors was quarterback, right?
See, like he played. Yeah. He was
Todd Helton's another quarterback.
Yeah, he is. So I don't know if you know this. You know my grandfather's name was Dewey?
Dewey Mitchell?
How sick is that?
That is sick. Bubba Winch. Yeah, these are all like names that you could name like your creative player on NCAA or the coach that you make. All great names. But yeah, I think Sax Crawford is the best.
Ooh, another name I just thought of that could have been really good. Variety of reasons it didn't work out. Also, may not have started over Eric Ainge after his freshman year. Brent Schaefer.
Yep.
On this Wikipedia thing, it has James Banks as 1-0. Did he start a game at quarterback?
Oh, did he?
I don't
know. Yeah, all-time stuff there. Do you have any more stupidities?
Yeah, I had that. We mentioned earlier that dumbass that also doubled down on a tweet. Winning a regular season SEC title gets the ring celebration. Dalton Connect is incredible, but got to have bigger tournament goals. So based on one picture of Dalton pointing at his ring finger, he doesn't have tournament goals.
Yeah, I wanted.
Don't worry, Landon. He doubled down. He said last week I picked Tennessee to root for in March. What does that mean? And Connect is the most exciting player in the sport. But him pointing at his ring finger makes him not exciting. Loved watching them. Wanted them to win it all. Now I'm out because Vol fans are just too mean. Oh, you tweeted something dumb and now you're back because people are hurting your feelings? Oh.
Yeah, just a bad look. It's like, yeah, let's not celebrate anything. Only celebrate if you win the national championship. That's
Here's
what
the thing, Landon.
baffles me.
It was our Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was.
I'm ready whenever because I got to get this thing out of my mouth.
Okay. Guys, I got one more person to tell you about. That is Knoxville Tours. Great friend of the pod. They want us to let you know it is never too early to think about football season. Tennessee takes on Oklahoma this season in Norman to welcome them to the SEC. Our good friends at Knoxville Tours have a great 5-day tour, September 19th to the 23rd, that takes all the stress off you when booking and planning an away trip. The trip on the Motor Coach Tour will take you from Tennessee to Oklahoma for the game and some fun stops along the way. The trip will include transportation to and from Oklahoma, 4 nights hotel accommodations, and a dinner show at Cattleman's. Go cheer on the Vols in the Midwest. They will also be doing tours to Arkansas and Vanderbilt this football season. Give Knoxville Tours a call today at 865-688-6232 to book your tour and let them know more important issues seen. Guys, go check them out.
Okay, so obviously the fall football game is a big appeal, but a dinner show at a place called Cattleman's, I'm in. Sign me up.
You have to have the amount of gum that you do now at Cattleman's.
Dude, I bet there's a big old steak in that dinner.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. All right.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Guys, great show, long show, but thanks Steve Hamer for coming on the show with us and just getting us fired up for March, man. I'm excited, ready to get this postseason started. That happens after we whoop the shit out of Kentucky. And guys, have a good weekend. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.